we were not very close friends until I think
Sophomore.
my personality started to change a bit. And I started having different priorities and focuses in life that more aligned with you. And you were a better influence on me. And that's when we started to become friends.
That was slightly nice, Richard.
Yeah.
I think it was like end of sophomore year we started, like that was when we became friends.
Yeah. Actually hanging out.
That's when we shared our bracelets back and forth. Our friendship bracelets.
Our what?
Our friendship bracelets.
Say it again.
Our friendship bracelets.
You're going to get there eventually. What was the question? I think the last book I maybe like cried over. We're about to open Pandora's box, and you're going to wish we kept that box closed.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another to Ramble episode. I'm your host, Austin.
And I'm Richard.
And this isn't just a normal intro for Richard. You're not just Richard. This video is about Richard, the inner mechanisms of Richard. We are doing an in-depth psychoanalyst of your mind, of everything you've ever done in your childhood. We're going to get personal. We're going to get really parasocial in this.
Oh, yeah.
If people thought they knew Richard, just wait till you found out.
We're about to open Pandora's box, and you're going to wish we kept that box closed.
Hey, if you've been complaining about our book reviews, here you go. This is a little bit of a, we've done a Q&A before. We're diving more into the, hey, who is Richard really? I'm curious. You're a closed wall sometimes to me.
I love how you get to plan these things. That way you can make me do the more open, embarrassing thing, and you get to just stay back and edit video.
Well, Rich, guess what? If this does well, we'll do my personality test, but we don't really want to go there.
I see it. We're testing it on me. Yeah. I'm the test dummy. I understand.
You're the guinea pig.
I get it.
So this personality test, if people aren't familiar, you know what the kids call this nowadays? It's called
crack?
Nope. It's actually called the Myers-Briggs test.
Oh, okay.
I'm on
different kids.
We hung out with different people.
Different people.
This is 16personalities.com, how this works if people aren't familiar. And you're familiar, right, Rich? You know this thing.
Yeah.
So you have a personality where you answer a bunch of different questions, and that's how we'll get to know Rich. And you come out with a 4-letter acronym, a 4-letter personality where it's you're extroverted or introverted, you're judging or thinking, and it explains what that is when your test results come. So I'm going to ask you question by question about you.
Oh, wonderful.
And here's how the test works, okay? Mm-hmm. There's a scale where you can either say you're neutral, which you don't say neutral a lot, but there's a neutral response in the middle, and then there's a slightly, moderately, or strongly agree, and a slightly, moderately, strongly disagree with the statement. So it's essentially a 7-point scale with a neutral and slightly, moderately, strongly on both sides.
I get it.
I'm
following.
Sometimes I don't get things that I'm explaining it like someone would explain to me. I like to really, really reduce things down.
Oh, I understand.
All right. So it looks like his personality's a bit aggressive today. We're gonna get diving into this, but right before that, even though this isn't a book review we're doing, if you want to join us and review books monthly, not review books monthly, if you want to talk books monthly with us in our private Discord, we have a Patreon. Just costs quick, $50 a month. Join up.
It's just all of your money every month.
Actually, $75. We're raising the price. It's realistically, it's $10.
The list of things to pay in order of importance is...
Go through it. Yep.
To the Ramble Patreon.
$100.
Then your medical bills. Then your rent and food.
And what do you think someone's doing something important while listening to you breaking down your personality?
I hope so. I hope they're just keeping me in the background while they do dishes. And that way the really sad stuff in my life can just be glossed over. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, this first question's quite relevant to that, okay? Now, Rich, this is already starting off great. Mm-hmm. First question. You regularly make new friends. Is that true?
Moderately. I'm between moderately and strongly disagree.
Now, as one of your friends, I'm going to lean you towards strongly. Now, you get to decide. I'll put your option wherever you want.
Here's the thing. I can be friendly with a lot of people.
That's true.
I'm plenty friendly to people. I don't make that many friends.
New friends.
No, not very often.
Here's the thing. Your friends have all been there for years. Like, you picked your group.
I'm real quick at dropping friends. Like, I'm real great at that. Like, I'll be friendly and then like cut, gone.
Why do you think I made this business tie with us? I'm like, I'm next. I need to.
Yeah, you can't leave. I can't leave anymore.
There's been moments. So would you say strongly, because it says making new friends? You've made your friend group, and then you seem to have just locked onto that and never looked back. To your own detriment, probably.
Yeah. Now, I did. There was a fork in the road in my life in college, and I made the wrong decision.
Now, my question to you is: do you regret that? Do you wish you could make went and made new friends? What prevents you from doing that?
Oh, I still look sometimes at my rich friends that I could have hung out with. Like, they are now rich. They were focused, successful, driven. I could have gone that direction, and I would probably be making really good money in the big city, partying up, living with people. It would be great. Instead, I'm here. We'll make it that what we will.
This was my worst video idea.
Yeah.
I don't like this.
This is your idea. This ain't mine.
Okay, so you strongly disagree.
Strongly disagree.
The second question. There's a lot of questions, so we're gonna dive really deep into here, okay?
Okay.
Here's the question. You spend a lot of your free time exploring various random topics that pique your interest.
Moderately agree.
Moderately agree. Okay.
I mean, occasionally I go on just a tangent in my head and research. Like, many things in my life I'm fine just being willfully ignorant about.
Yeah.
And then occasionally I'm just going into the weeds.
Oh, there's a week where you go, I'm going to be a whittler by Sunday.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
Whittling's fun.
But I think you find these different interests, and then you just hammer them for a week.
And then I'm done.
Because you've gained the knowledge. You go, okay, that's been attained. I've now gained my knowledge pool.
Yep.
What's been the weirdest thing you've done for a short period of time that you just went, oh, that was a fad, a phase?
Trying to learn the piccolo.
See what I mean?
I know the fingering of a flute, and I'm not good at flute, but I know how to play the notes. And I was like, oh, it should be easy to play piccolo because it would be great when I go on hikes and camping.
Yeah.
I can it's easier to carry a piccolo, so I can play a piccolo around the fire. It's much harder. Piccolo is very, very hard to play.
You correctly answered that to your personality, then. That's a moderate agree. Is there any time when you've read a book, and once you read a certain kind of book, and there's a topic in there, or it's the genre itself? Maybe not the genre.
The Silmarillion.
Yeah, there you go.
Silmarillion, I spent a whole week just diving into different internet forums. I looked into the history of the Ents, probably too much. Then I went into the finding the history of Tolkien signed a certain Middle-earth map that was drawn up by I think he was about 16 at the time, but him and his friend did a very in-depth map of Middle-earth. Amazing job. And he was able to get it signed by Tolkien and actually sat and talked with him for a while. And in that map, there were several comments and notes that Tolkien wrote on there that are some from already referenced in his notes in the Silmarillion, but also some new stuff. So how much do you consider that stuff canon or not? And that was fun for me. And where is this map to begin with? The sun posted on Quora or wherever they were.
Yeah.
That was my week.
You showed me that when you came back from work one day and went, Austin, cancel your plans. You're about to learn about Ents.
You're about to learn about the Ent. Where do the Ent wives go?
Before we go into the next question here, we do want to take a 1 minute sponsor break.
2 minutes.
Here's a quick ad from Displate. Displate, thank you for sponsoring us.
Displates are eco-friendly, stainless steel metallic posters that feature incredible artwork from artists all over the world. You can browse their collections of posters directly on displate.com, where you can find designs from your favorite fandoms ranging from Wheel of Time, Lord of the Rings, and Stormlight Archive. And yes, Austin, even Red Rising stuff.
Oh, yeah. And once you found the art your heart desires, your poster is sent right to your doorstep. And check out how easy it is to put these up on your wall.
It takes seconds. You simply open up your box from Displate, and each poster comes protected in a layer of premium plastic.
Rich, that's normal plastic.
Fine. Normal dinosaur plastic. Once you get to the art itself, each and every poster comes with a magnetic mounting system that takes just 4 simple steps to install.
Step 1, peel the back paper off and stick the leaf on the wall. Press around to remove air bubbles. Step 2, peel the foil off the back of the magnet. Step 3, stick the magnet in the middle of the protective leaf and press hard for 20 seconds. And step 4, hang your disc plate. That's it.
This is great because you can switch out your posters anytime you'd like without having to reinstall a thing.
If you like what you see, Display's offering our viewers 32% off if you use the code 2ToRamble at checkout. If you have 3 Displays in your cart at checkout, they're providing 38% off if you use the code 2ToRamble.
Go ahead. Do it. Use code 2ToRamble for 32 to 38% off while supplies last. Well, okay. They have a lot of supply. I don't think they're going to run out of supply.
No, I think they got a lot, Rich.
No, while supplies last. And we're back.
Wow, wasn't that nice?
It was really kind of them.
That was a nice break as well to have an ad rather than learning about you. I think that was necessary.
Yeah. They'll prefer to loop back to that one instead.
They just rewatch the ad. It's more fun. All right, next question is, seeing other people cry can easily make you feel like you want to cry too.
Strongly disagree.
Yeah. So explain that. Give us some of your... So if you see people cry, you do not feel the urge to cry.
I have a strong aversion to seeing people cry. I just don't like it. It's not enjoyable. It makes me, harden up a little bit more. And especially if there's no reason to cry. It's understandable. You lose a parent, a sibling, or something. But crying over stupid crap is very aggravating to me. It makes me lose respect in them a little bit.
Now, would you say that you have there been a moment where you know what? Let me ask this. When's the last time you cried, Richard?
Depends on cry.
Not cry laugh.
Like a tear came down the eye of...
Yes. And it was probably a book, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. It was probably a book. I think the last book I maybe cried over.
Can I guess?
Go ahead.
Hyperion?
That is one I cried at, but there's been another.
There's a more recent one, really.
Yeah, I think it was The Sword of Kaigen.
Oh, yeah.
I think I had a tear. A tear rolled down my face on that one.
Now, I'm a book nerd. I love books, so I'm going to be the devil's advocate here. Say, hey, you said I don't like when people cry over stupid stuff. Some people out there, not us, would say, crying over books stupid, Rich.
I never said I had to like myself. There are no hypocrites here.
All right. I think it's cool.
There is no loophole.
All right. Fair answer. Fair enough.
No, but it's mostly just a lack of control over a when you see someone crying over a situation, it typically means they have broken down and lost control. It's different, and it's more just a panic option of okay, stuff's going on, we need to fix the problem rather than cry about it. That's sometimes crying is the wrong reaction to a thing. And that is uncomfortable.
It's not, you think sometimes more often than not.
Yeah, in all honesty, in a non hostile situation, or you're watching a movie, you're having a reminisce, a casual cry on something sad or whatever, who cares? But if you're in a stressful situation, crying is not appropriate at that moment. You need to handle the problem first. Or you're in a conversation with someone and you just break down crying. It's not particularly a sad moment. It's just you've lost control. That's the difference. There's a difference between crying because you're sad or something touched you emotionally, and you cannot mentally handle the situation and your brain breaks and you lose all your faculties. That's the one I'm uncomfortable with.
I'm loving this episode again.
Yeah.
We're getting deep into Richard's psyche.
Why does Richard not like to cry?
All right, next question, Rich. You ready for this? Mm-hmm. You often make a backup plan for a backup plan.
Strongly disagree.
Yep, that's accurate. Yep, that's accurate for you.
That's bold to assume that I have a plan in the first place.
You would have to have a backup plan to have a backup to the backup plan.
Yeah, none of those. Yeah, absolutely not.
You're just not a planner.
No.
But recently, in the past week, though, you and I created a calendar for the first time.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah. It took us coming on 2 years of our channel to create a calendar for video recording and uploading and just scheduling.
It's good. It's a good thing.
It's not in your nature. We had to force it out of both of us. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like flying by the seat of my pants. It's kind of I think the best example is vacations.
Oh, can I?
It is not fun to meticulously plan out a vacation. Like having a couple things that you want to see, neat. But those like tour groups, ugh, God. Nothing is sadder than being in a bunch of groups and like being led around like sheep around a thing. I'd rather just like let me loose. Like, oh, you have 5 hours in the city. Go have fun. It's great. Find a weird cafe. Find a tiny book nook in a back alley corner, and you find a neat book by Mark Twain. That's fun. Yeah. That's a fun time.
You know, that's what's strange because when we were in Iceland, the touristy stuff was the worst part.
It was. Almost always the touristy stuff is the worst part.
And then we found that cool bookstore with the band.
That was fun. Unplanned.
And shout out to Cafe Loki. Remember Cafe Loki?
Ooh, yeah.
The dessert there. Phenomenal. The shark. Oh, what a time. What a time. I'm changing. This is my personality test. Yeah. I love it.
But yes, no to backup plans. Strongly disagree.
Strongly disagree. Okay. Here's your next one. Okay. I know you. I know where you're going to answer. I love it. You usually stay calm even under a lot of pressure.
I mean, moderately agree.
Yes.
For the most part.
I was gonna say, yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, I'm not a complete...
Hold on. By the way, viewers, I'm going to push back if I disagree. Like if I say, you're not like that. So far, you're being accurate.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's been situations I'm not complete stoic or anything. I'm not there yet.
You're a wannabe stoic.
I'm not a stone. I'm not like just this rock yet. I will harden my heart in life to one day get there. But today is not that day.
It is true that you said this before as well, that you kind of are a conglomeration of your 5 closest friends. Yeah. Personality-wise. Do you think that's true for you? And the reason that you think some things and you act certain ways is that, I'm the median of these 5 people. Not exactly, but generally.
I think it's a combination of you influence your friends, but also your personalities attract certain other personalities that we wouldn't hang out. Like all of our friends wouldn't hang out together if we weren't at some level kind of similar.
Mm-hmm. So that's how it starts.
Yeah, exactly.
You and I met via my roommates in freshman year of college.
And thing is, I don't think we were not very close friends until I think my personality started to change a bit. And I started having different priorities and focuses in life that more aligned with you. And you were a better influence on me. And that's when we started to become friends.
That was slightly nice, Richard.
Yeah.
I think it was like end of sophomore year we started, like that was when we became friends.
Yeah, actually hanging out.
That's when we shared our bracelets back and forth, our friendship bracelets.
Our what?
Our friendship bracelets.
Say it again.
Our friendship bracelets.
You're going to get there eventually. What was the question?
It was you usually stay calm even under, so moderately agree.
Yeah.
Now here's this one. This is the last one on the page, then it goes into the next section of questions, all right? At social events, you rarely try to introduce yourself to new people and mostly talk to the ones you already know.
Slightly disagree. Or moderately.
I would say moderately. Can I push you to moderately?
Yeah. Generally, I'm fine with talking to new people.
Which is interesting because the other question of do you regularly make new friends? You don't, right? I'm not saying this is a bad thing. You don't regularly make new friends, but when you're in a social situation, you will talk to new people. But it's like, talk to them. There. Yeah. I'll see them 10 years from now.
Yeah, generally.
But you have these new conversations with a bunch of people. I always see you at the corner of I always see you talking to somebody new.
I'm not particularly uncomfortable talking to new people. Yeah. It's just I don't make those people my friends very often.
You I've noticed you like to test your theories with people.
Yes.
You like to test your opinions and just be like, this is a person's who I've never talked before, a complete different knowledge set. Let me pick their brain and yell at them. not yell at them like you do. You have a lot of deep conversations with new people.
Yeah, I mean, the only way to see if your opinions are correct is to test it out on people. Yeah. Because, I mean, if you're living in your own little bubble, you're not going to figure things out. And then when you, like, bounce an idea off someone, they, like, react to it, you go, oh, okay, I was too isolated in that bubble. I need to break out. Maybe something's a little wrong.
Yeah.
Also, it's just fun to see their reaction.
It is. And I've, like, seen the reaction of you and other people talking like that because you guys get deep. And would you say that when you're in a conversation, do you go book? Like, is book the first thing that comes to mind? Just for the viewers out there, is like all you talk about is books? Is that who Richard is?
I try not to, because I know most people don't. I like, if I get an inkling that they're a book reader, 100%.
That's all the conversation.
That's the conversation. But I know how dull of a conversation is when you're talking about books you've read and the other person doesn't read. That's not a very fun conversation. And so you just try and meet the person where they're at and ask a bunch of questions.
I think one of the backbones of this podcast is that a lot of people in real life, not only is there not a ton of book readers, ton of people read. It's not like in your personal circle everybody reads. And not just that, how many in your personal circle are fantasy sci-fi readers? When you niche it down, that's where it gets like, oh, yeah, these people online talk about books that I'm into. So I think the same is true when you go out into a party, or not even party, just normal situation at work. How many of your colleagues read, and not just read, but then read fantasy?
Whole Zippo
Hippo.
Like the only stuff they read is like the nonfiction stuff.
And does that make you better than them?
They're better at their jobs than I am. So
that was a leading question. I mean, yeah, you're right. People.
Yeah.
All right. This next question is, we're 10% through the test, by the way.
Oh, that wonderful.
This next question is, you prefer to completely finish one project before starting another?
Strongly disagree.
Yeah, that's. Do you think that's a positive or
that's a flaw? That's a flaw.
It means you multitask.
Yeah, instead of whole-assing one thing, I half-ass two things.
Now, that would combine. But when you work on something, though, you kind of just do it in one day. Like, you spend the day focused on that thing. But those are only in spurts.
Yeah.
So generally, you're kind of just all over the place.
Basically, yeah. And a lot of half-done, unfinished projects that never get seen again.
Then this could be asked for books as well. Do you finish, when you're reading a book, is it just one book you're reading until you complete that book? Or are you reading multiple at once? Is it audio plus physical? How is your reading experience like that?
I normally split it between physical and audio. So I'll have an audiobook different. Now, sometimes the book is just so exciting that I'm like, I've got to finish the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I will listen to the audiobook while I'm walking or doing other things. And then as soon as I'm able to sit down, I pull up the physical book and then I read that. And then when I get up, back to audiobook. And so I will have a full 10-hour day of reading.
Yeah.
If I can manage it on a weekend or whatever. That is some books.
Or during your workday, hence why your coworkers are generally better than
exactly.
It goes full circle.
Yeah. This channel is a negative impact on my work.
All right, this next question, I think we know where this is going. You are very sentimental.
No.
Is that a strong disagree, or is it a moderate? What do you think? Because you got some sentiment. If you can cry during book scenes, that's sentimental.
Is that, or I was thinking of it do you have stuff that you hold on to?
Oh, okay. Let's
I'll be honest. I have
this is the definition. Okay, it's of or prompted by feelings of tenderness, sadness, or nostalgia. So if we're using that broad,
moderately disagree then.
Okay, moderate.
I mean, do you
ever feel intense nostalgia?
No, not really.
Never?
I guess I do, but I just don't think of it very often.
Not often enough for it to be a character trait.
I guess so.
This next one, this question is, you like to use organizing tools like schedules and lists?
Strongly disagree. But okay, this past week it's been fun. It's been fun actually having a schedule and calendar, but I almost never stick to it.
And also, it says, do you like to use them?
Yeah, so moderately disagree.
Okay, moderately?
Yeah.
Does this have to do with your whole planning thing as well? So you don't like to plan, you also don't like to schedule and list things?
Here's the thing. I think I generally like the idea of them. I just never seem to stick to it. So I clearly must not like it enough to stick to it.
Yeah.
So.
Can I make a comparison? You and Darrow of Lycos are very similar.
I feel a big butt coming along.
No, I'm saying you and Darrow of Lycos both don't like to plan things, generally speaking.
I thought he planned stuff.
he's more rash with things, though. Think about it. He kind of just goes haul asses.
He does.
He does plan stuff as well.
And then the plot works out in his favor.
Except for you.
Yeah.
So, I guess you're not like Darrow.
No, the plot does not work in my favor.
This next question or statement is, even a small mistake can cause you to doubt your overall abilities and knowledge.
Now, here's the thing. Can you doubt your abilities and knowledge if you don't think you have it in the first place? Like, how to doubt it, you have to start from somewhere. And like, you have to first believe you have abilities and knowledge, and then doubt whether that's true or not. If you're already at the floor and you go, oh no, I know I'm not shit. I know I'm a dum-dum. Can you, like, I don't doubt that I am a dum-dum. I understand exactly where I am.
So let me ask you a serious question then about this, okay? Do you consider yourself very knowledgeable or not? You know, would you consider yourself an expert?
No. That's the answer to that one.
Do you know what I'm going to ask, though, too? Like, very knowledgeable on books. Would you say on the fantasy sci-fi genre, would you say you're an opinion that's worthwhile?
Generally, no.
It's great. That's great. That's wonderful. Everyone can tune out for all of our future episodes.
I mean, I have just
do you really
large
not
gaps.
think? Do you really not think you have any value or any level of expertise?
I think I have general entertainment value and possibly the value of confirming your own beliefs. So someone is watching our videos and then listens to my opinion and goes, I had that same opinion too. This confirms my own beliefs. That's kind of a value. I don't think I have any particularly added
nuance
value. Yeah, no, I can see some stuff, but I don't think I'm adding anything particularly new to the conversation.
I think you've added some nuance in books we've discussed.
Maybe. Okay, I think we talked about Mort, and there was something I thought of. Though I don't know if that's even new. That could be a thing that's been around.
But if you thought of it,
I guess it was new to me. All thoughts are new to me.
So then, when even a small mistake can cause you to doubt your overall abilities and knowledge, how would you say neutral because you don't know how to answer that? Whether it's,
I guess, slightly disagree. I'm not really put off by, like, if I fail at something, it's fine.
Fair answer.
I'm positive that I can eventually figure it out.
We'll do slightly disagree for that. Okay.
Sure.
This next statement is, you feel comfortable just walking up to someone you find interesting and striking up a conversation. Similar
moderately agree.
Yeah, moderately agree because, as you said, if you go into a new situation, you want to pick their brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then this next one is, you are not too interested in discussing various interpretations and analysis of creative works.
Strongly disagree.
That's self-evident.
That's all I like to do. That's my whole thing.
That's half of this channel.
Half. That's 100%.
Most of this.
That's all of it.
What would you say your favorite book we've gone over to? Not your favorite book. Your favorite book that we had to deeply analyze. I have one that comes to my head. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Your favorite that we had to analyze and interpret. Maybe that'll help you lean toward what I'm thinking. Come on.
You mean Mort?
Give me a bone. No, not Mort. No.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. We reviewed it on this channel.
Oh.
But hey, what was the favorite for you?
1,000 Deaths of Arter Ben. I did genuinely enjoy going into why that story sucked.
Yeah, for those that didn't watch that episode, we hated that book.
I did.
That was your favorite?
I enjoyed that, but I liked our deep dives into a couple of the authors. I really enjoyed the deep dive into Brandon Sanderson.
We got to do more of those where we deep dive authors.
Yeah. Thing is, we need to read more of the books for us to deep dive. Like, I would love for us to do a deep dive into Robin Hobb. She's an interesting lady and makes some amazing books. One of arguably the best fantasy writer alive today.
Damn.
Her prose is up there. I comparing her to Tolkien in many ways is not completely far-fetched in terms of just prose-wise.
So Robin Hobb could be on a radar, but you'd say genuinely your favorite that we have done so far, analyzed and interpreted, was Arter Ben. Come on. I'm leading you there. What else?
Are you trying to... Okay. I guess I really enjoyed The Grace of Kings.
That too. That was very interesting.
Which one are you thinking?
I'm thinking Piranesi.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, come on, that was a great one.
That,
Not just the. I mean, the conversation was great and everything, but that book itself.
Oh, just
the
all
point
the
of it. Is to interpret and analyze it.
Yeah, I mean, the whole, I guess, the overarching meaning of it was that the search for meaning in many ways is pointless. Like, take something as it is and instead of trying to force your own perception onto something else. That the value is, if you listen, the value is given to you.
And that's one of like 10 interpretations of messages. Because my favorite interpretation from that book was looking at a prison and not a literal prison, but your imagination can either be your prison or a sanctuary, and any place outside of that. So a marriage can be a prison or sanctuary. It rules, you can look at them as walls that cannot be escaped from, or you can look at as freedom that you can walk around within these walls, and just everything that extends to. Love that message. But then there's 20 others. Like, I want to talk about Piranesi again.
That was a great book.
But to this question, obviously you strongly disagree that you're not too interested in discussing various interpretations. Okay. We're 20% through. Let's get this. And then at the end of this, we'll find out what your personality is, and it'll give you information on your love life.
Yeah, I really needed the internet to tell me I'm a shithead.
But it will also give details on, like, hey, how are you as a friend, as a lover, as a fighter, all these things, as a coworker.
I don't think I need these answers.
His next question or statement is, you are more inclined to follow your head than your heart. Is that true? Do you follow your head over your heart? Your thinker over your feeler?
I guess so. Fairly enough. I mean,
like that sounds like a slightly agree.
Yeah, I mean, I do what I like. It's what I enjoy, but I don't try and be hysterical over things.
Interesting.
I'm trying to think about that.
Okay. Yeah. So when you make decisions, are you more logical about the decisions? Do you think of the consequences? Do you think with your brain, or are you more gut reaction? That's how I feel in the moment. Are you more kind of driven by the emotional impulse, or are you more driven by the contemplation of planning this out?
I guess I'm generally motivated by my gut reaction. I follow my gut more often than not.
Okay. So would you say that's a slight or moderate?
Slight
disagree. Okay. So you follow your heart slightly more than maybe you, this is the reason this question is difficult. You want to follow your head more.
Possibly.
But you actually follow your heart more.
It's probably more accurate. I try and think of things and then I go, that's heart of the cards.
I mean, think about when you play poker, literally.
Oh, yeah. That depends also on my level of intoxication.
Okay, that's fair.
But no, yeah, that is true. Sometimes I get a feeling. If my song is playing, you
have a lucky song.
I can't lose if I have my lucky song playing.
Can I push you to do moderately disagree on that? Because you do follow your gut a lot.
Here's the thing. Logically speaking, if the consequences are low enough, it's far more fun to follow my heart. Because then when it works out, the reward is far greater. For me to win a hand at poker after logically thinking out of going like, okay, I'm in last position, so I have highest advantage. So my range is far more open. They opened up. Austin was he bluffed that last couple hands. I believe he's probably being a bit more conservative right now. Justin here, he's playing, big stack bully. Analyzing the board and going like, okay, I have a 55-60% chance of actually winning this hand. I'm going to go all in. And then I win.
I'm like, okay, the odds were in my favor.
The odds were in my favor. Who cares? But okay, sure,
the reward cool. You get
the reward I get from going, my song's on. I got 7 deuce offsuit. I'm all in. And then I win?
Yeah.
Oh, that's way more fun. That's an enjoyable time. So logically speaking, I am going for the maximum reward emotional.
Okay.
Rather than the maximum monetary reward. So it's a balance.
Right. So if you're talking about something more serious in your life, so if you're planning a career, you would obviously use your head more than your heart of planning your career out. Or which friends you have, maybe.
It depends. So how much is that emotion? Is the emotional gratification, satisfaction more valuable than the logical, monetary, or, more straightforward ideas. So
I got a great example for you.
Yeah.
This podcast is not logical.
no, not
This
particularly.
podcast is more gut reaction.
Oh yeah, no. The
By
amount of
far.
the
I'm
amount
not
of
saying that as a joke. Like, we're
100%.
very serious that this is not like a financial.
no, it's
Like,
not.
this is smart.
No, the smart thing would be for me to focus on my career and take some classes. There's a lot of stuff I could be doing with my time and money.
But the feeling is just,
It's worth it.
let's do it, and it's worth it.
But seeing as that's a mental calculation.
Yeah.
So,
So then, are we sticking with slightly disagree on
slightly disagree.
that? Okay. Then let's go on to the next question. Okay. Or I keep saying question. They're statements. All right. You ready for this statement?
Yeah.
You usually prefer just doing what you like at any given moment instead of planning a particular daily routine.
This is a struggle between what I want to be
Yeah.
and what I actually am.
So how are you going to answer this?
Truthfully, what I am is I don't particularly plan out the day. I often try and plan out a day, and it's really hard for me to stick to a routine. Very difficult, especially those early mornings. I try.
Yeah. It says you usually prefer just doing what you feel like at any given moment. You don't prefer doing that. You want.
I want to, but when push comes to shove, I don't.
Okay, so how would you answer that? The statement is you usually prefer just doing what you feel like at any given moment instead of planning a particular daily routine.
Moderately agree.
Moderately agree. Okay. Because that's what you actually do.
Yep.
But can't be strongly because you want to push yourself toward a disagree.
The difference between belief and conviction.
There you go. Next one is you rarely worry about whether you make a good impression on people you meet. I have a thought here if you need help coaxing your...
Slightly agree.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? That's the first one I didn't know that.
What do you mean?
Huh.
Like, I guess I care a bit, or maybe slightly disagree. I don't know.
No. Do your honest opinion. So you think slightly agree? Yeah.
I often don't, but I mean, I care enough. It'd be very inconvenient if people hate me. Like, that's real annoying.
That's your first thought. That's just inconvenient.
It is. Can you oh God. Like, I enjoy going to my office because generally the office people like me well enough. At the very least, they're not rude to my face. So I haven't pissed them off to a significant degree.
Yeah.
It would be very inconvenient if that was otherwise.
So slightly agree.
Yeah.
You do worry and concern because it would change how you feel going into social interactions.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I'm ever going to... I generally don't portray myself in a false light just to get people to like me.
Yeah.
But it's either I'm
tactful.
I'm either truthful or I'm quiet. I'm not going to outright lie.
But truth can also, and coming from you, your truth can also be tactful.
Sure.
Saying the truth doesn't mean you have to be rude and inconsiderate.
Yeah.
You can be true with still being caring and understanding.
Perception matters far more than the actual truth.
Reality.
How you get a point across is equally or more important than the point that you had to make in the first place. Because you make a point the wrong way and people will take it a certain way and then they just won't listen to you.
They won't see you as someone worth listening to you because they'll have more resentment than they will respect.
Yeah. It's generally in a disagreement, you're not trying to get them to change their mind in that moment. You're almost never going to. And also you don't want them to hate you. The end result of a good disagreement is for them to think back on it fondly of like, that was interesting. I didn't agree, but made some interesting points that I'm going to have to think about later.
Plants the seed.
That's the goal. That's what you want. You don't want them to hate you after a fundamental disagreement. And now there are layers to that. Like there's degrees. If someone is like an outright Nazi, I don't particularly care how they are seen. I mean, you could still be, I guess, polite to a certain degree and tactful. Like you don't want to lose control over yourself just because someone else is like completely off of your moral base. But still.
Yeah, there's exceptions.
Yeah, there's almost always an exception to the rule, but generally it's true.
We're getting some interesting answers here. That one was the first where I didn't know that would be your gut reaction.
You thought I wouldn't care about what people think?
Well, I think on degrees, you care less than other people would. No, I know you're not rude to people. I don't mean it in that way. I just know that you don't let the opinions of others really affect your mood. That's what I was kind of thinking about.
Oh.
You see what I mean? Because it's saying you really worry about whether you make a good impression on people. So I can see, you're like, hey, slightly agree. I want to make a good impression on people. But I know your reaction isn't betrothed to what their opinion is of you. That's kind of what I was thinking.
True. I guess I don't lose sleep over it.
Yeah. But we'll stick with that answer. That's your answer. Okay. Next one is you enjoy participating in group activities. All right. What's the answer, Rich? Give us the honest answer.
Moderately disagree or slightly.
Let's stick with moderate.
Here's the thing. I don't want to be not included. I like the concept of going out with people. It's fun to be like, oh, we're going out as a group. I enjoy like, oh, hey, we're all going out this weekend. I enjoy holding on to that thought and that plan in my head. It's like, oh, that's great.
That's an idea.
I feel loved. I have friends. We're doing things. It's great. You know the only thing better than having plans with your friends? Canceling.
Not having.
No. No. Specific. Canceling plans with friends is far more enjoyable than having plans with friends. But what's worse than both of those is not having any plans at all with friends. That's the worst. So, worst is having no plans with no friends. That's the worst. Then above that is having plans with friends. And then above that is canceling your plans with friends.
That's you're just an asshole.
No, but every time the planning with friends is more fun than when I go there and then like you have to deal with other people and then like hours go by and things are just like you feel like there's a lot of effort to keep it going and the pressure to, hey, I just want to leave. I'm done, and yet no one else seems to be done. That's aggravating.
That's why you like having people over the house, because you could socialize upstairs, and then as soon as you hit your wall of like, I've had it, everyone just kind of looks around and goes, where's Rich? Oh, he's been asleep for several hours. Yeah. He left.
That's the best part. Hosting parties is the best because you get as much socialization as you need. You're a part of a community. You're talking with people. You meet new people. It's a fun time. And then when things just start going like, yeah, I'm done. I just go to my room. And then I wake up and people have left. It's great. Or I come back up and maybe try for round 2, talking to people. But
Depends how you're feeling.
Depends how I'm feeling.
Would you say you're very... I'm going to ask this seriously again, okay? Not a leading question, and I'm going to play devil's advocate. Would you say you're a selfish person?
Generally, I guess.
Ooh, go on that. I mean, let's get serious. Oh,
I don't think I've donated a significant amount of my time to help the homeless. I mean, mostly focused on myself and the people closest to me. So, I don't know. My circle of care is very small. I care a lot about my closest friends and my family. I give 2 shits about a lot of people outside that circle.
Title of the video, Richard hates the homeless. I just was trying to fish something out of you. That's it.
It's not out of any malice. It's just show your actions. So
No, it's very honest, yeah.
I mean, I don't have a particular great amount of time or money to help a lot of people.
But you still could.
I could. If it was a higher priority of mine, I would.
Yes.
But it clearly isn't.
And I'm putting you in the hot seat. Of course, I have the same answer as you. So I'm not just trying to put that on you, but I'm going to ask you some tough questions as we keep going, okay? That was just one of my own. That wasn't even you know what? Forget the personality test. This next one is, here you go. You like books and movies that make you come up with your own interpretation of the ending.
Strongly agree.
Yes.
It's my favorite thing.
Yes.
It's the only thing I like. I love a book or movie that makes me think about the what ifs and, what about this? What about that? I love the ending of Hyperion. I love the, oh God, Neuromancer. I actually really enjoyed. I know you didn't like it, but it made me think about like, what is that ending? And then what would be the case? What would the future look like in this world? I loved it.
Fire Upon the Deep.
Fire Upon the Deep. Oh, the different interpretations, though it's a bit more clear, I think. You have...
Yeah, that's true.
I'm trying to think of some other books.
Are there some movies that stand out as well? Oh, interpretations for books. Pure Nasty, we already mentioned it.
Yeah.
But that obviously has a billion.
Mort.
Mort.
Mort's great. All of Discworld is constantly me
Yes.
thinking like, oh, what about this and what about that?
Which I think... I'm going to let all the viewers know this. We've had this small discussion beforehand. But, you know, we kind of have our camps. Like, I like Red Rising more. You like Wheel of Time more. Stormlight, I seem to like more, but you still like it a lot.
I still like it a lot.
But
yeah.
we still share the common ground. We both
I'll
really
be
like
honest.
Stormlight.
The only thing we maybe disagree on is the prose, like level of prose. That's
Okay.
about where we disagree. I think almost everything else.
We generally both love Stormlight. But I think our next thing in this channel of our duo is going to be Discworld. Because so far, we're going to have a Mort review, but every Discworld book I've read, all 2 of them, as we go through, I'm in love.
Oh, yeah.
I love them. And I know
yeah.
you love them, but we have not shared the same level of absolute hype since Stormlight. And we need something to unite us again, because there's been some friction.
Sword of Kaigen. I think we equally had.
No. I'm not talking
our hype
standalones.
for that.
I'm talking like series, because there's been solo books like Pure Nest we both love and all that, but that's just a fleeting one-time book. We need a series to bond us.
I think you're right. And
That's the next
Discworld
thing.
is up, but I always want to have Discworld in my life.
Ah, yeah.
So there are other book series. I just want to tear through them, and I want to go through them all. It is comforting for me to know that there's always another Discworld book on the shelf that I haven't read yet.
Yeah.
Terry Pratchett always has something special for me if I want it. And so I don't want to spend them all in one place. I don't want to do like our series where we're reading a Discworld book a month.
Discworlds, yeah.
I don't want that.
Right.
I want several years from now still working through. Like there's 40-something. There are 42 books.
Okay, so you could like 2 a year and still have enough.
Yeah. Like I'll read them. I'm slowly buying more. I plan on reading another 2, 3, maybe 2 books in the next couple months.
You want it to last. You don't want it to just binge it.
Exactly.
It's like when you watch a good show, it's sometimes hard to not just finish it overnight.
Yeah.
But with Discworld, especially with books, it's easier to let them last and go back to it. And that's good. I like that.
It's my comfort place. It's my safe space.
Yeah. Do you feel safe here?
No, never.
Okay. Next question statement is: your happiness comes more from helping others accomplish things than your own accomplishments. A little bit off of that selfish question I asked you. I'm curious because your others' accomplishments includes your close friends and family.
Slightly agree.
Your happiness comes more from helping others than yourself. Yep.
Generally.
Slightly agree. Okay.
I mean, I enjoy buying stuff for my friends.
Yeah, you do.
And like helping them. Like it brings me joy to help out my friends and things like that. And like doing stuff for yourself is like stuff you have to do. Like, oh yay, I fixed my sink. Who cares? The sink needed to be fixed and I got it fixed. Whoop-de-doo. Give myself a pat on the back. No. Versus, hey, my buddy's plumbing was off and I helped him fix it. Yay. I helped them out. I did something they could not do for themselves and I contributed. That is joy.
That's a good answer, Rich. I'm getting the feel. So we're 30% through. We're still going. And I'm curious now. There's this weird feeling, right? Where if you're revealing a lot about yourself, of course.
Yeah.
If you meet somebody on the street, because you've met several patrons.
Yeah.
We met up with a patron. We had a brunch, or not brunch, like a late night brunch at a diner. It was really cool. Dan, shout out. But you walk into them, and sometimes you've had conversations where they say things about you that you're like, how do you know that? They're like, oh, the videos.
It's weird.
Is it strange to just go, wait, a lot of my thoughts and opinions are on the internet and people know me that I don't know?
There was a couple awkward moments. Shout out to Foxy. How you doing? Where
Picture Foxy. Thank you, Foxy. Yeah.
where we were I was talking about a book or something. And, this is the first time I'm meeting her. And we're chatting. And I bring up, she's like, oh, yeah, I know. I'm like,
how do you know this?
In my head, I'm going like, this is the first time I've met you
Yeah.
in person. And so that's weird to think that she already knows the thought, and it's like, oh yeah, that was in some video, and like I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
and it came up later. Like I was telling some nugget, some story of like something that happened. It's like, oh yeah, I remember, and like, it's weird.
So she's calling you a bot. You're a bot.
Yeah, it's odd to have that.
Yeah.
One person know more about you than you know about them, and it's that
Parasocial relationship.
I mean, it's not a like, oh, it's terrible. It's
No,
just like
it's just interesting.
it is interesting. I have not.
You're not complaining.
Yeah, no, I'm not complaining. It's just an interesting thing.
Yeah.
And it's an odd thing to experience.
So let's make you more uncomfortable, okay?
Wonderful.
This next one is, you are interested in so many things that you find it difficult to choose what to try next.
Strongly agree.
Strongly. So give an example of that. Where have you seen that's true?
I like boxing quite a bit. I don't have time for boxing. I would still be boxing if I had the time, but I can't box and weightlift and go to work and try and pull some extra hours at work and on top podcast reading. What else? I like to cook. I've had to kind of like shelf that off. Like I like cooking interesting things, but I don't have time to go into the recipes. And like I used to do far more cooking research. I would watch a bunch of cooking videos and do all that. I now don't have time for that. I have to cook things I know, which is not as fun of learning how to cook new dishes.
Do you feel so clamped with your time?
Generally. And then I waste the time.
But then you have some free time, right?
No, I have free time. Yeah? It's that my brain is addicted to YouTube, social media, and other little things that it sucks away the little time I have remaining. And I could have more.
Is it time to say delete?
Delete
YouTube.
Comment down below.
Listen, that last rant we did in the ranking video.
It's totally true.
It is.
Yeah. We are hypocrites.
Yeah.
Like, you have other things that you should be doing, and you should do them. Don't listen to us. This is a waste of your time in general.
Listen, if you guys really appreciate our channel, we'll see a huge drop off in viewership at this point in the video.
At this point, we should see just tank. And we'll look at that and saying, darn.
We'll feel really shitty,
our channel, our viewership, we're losing our...
Rich said he doesn't cry much. He'll cry.
I'll cry. But then, a little bit, I'll be thinking, you know what? All those people went out and did something productive or actually meaningful in that time.
Yeah.
So if you do click off this video, in that remaining time of the video, do something good. Do something, comment what actually meaningful thing that you decide to do instead of watching our video.
And tell us something, that you do today. Come back to this and be like, this is what I did. Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Here's the next one, Rich. No one's listening now. You are prone to worrying that things will take a turn for the worse.
Never been diagnosed with it, but probably when I was closer to having depression or depressive, whatever it may be, like that is clearly like a correlating fact of when I'm more sad and depressed, I thought everything was going wrong and could go wrong, versus when I'm generally happier, I'm not thinking that way.
So what would you say your answer would be now?
Now, I mean, I'm thinking things are going well. Like, I'm not super negative on things. So what's the scale?
You're prone to worrying, so it would be you disagree.
Moderately disagree.
Yeah, because you still have some concern for the future.
Sure.
Of course. You're normal.
Yeah, I'm not a robot.
Yeah, you're not an NPC is what we're getting at. Mm-hmm. This next one, you avoid leadership roles in group settings.
Strongly disagree.
Huh. I got to push back. This is my first pushback for you. I think this is a dead neutral for you. This is your first neutral. You explain your reasoning, but go ahead. Explain your reasoning.
When I am in a group setting, I think this is more emblematic of the groups that I'm in. Yeah. There tends to be a lot of indecision and questions of what are we going to do, and I get very annoyed with that there's no one taking a lead and like, we're going here, executive decision, let's go. Yeah. And so I often take that and I tell everyone, okay, we're going this way now.
Well, here's the thing.
Generally.
You do that, but if someone else, like you, I don't think you'll be the first to jump up and do it. If someone takes leadership, you're like, all right, that's the plan.
Oh,
For
it's
example,
great.
Planning a trip, like Justin plans a trip, or one of our roommates, you're like, oh, let's go. You planned it.
Yeah.
Tell me what to do.
I am perfectly happy with someone else taking the lead. But if no one takes the
Then
lead...
you will do the... So would you say that's a strong disagree? It's saying you avoid leadership roles. So it's not that you avoid it, but I don't think you're the first one to step up.
Thing is, I guess, but how I see that question is never.
Oh, okay. So you're taking
like you never take it. You're afraid of...
Okay.
Because you're afraid that when you are in a leadership position or role, that people are questioning you and people will judge you, and then you don't like that.
So strong.
I don't mind it.
Strong disagree then? Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, because you don't avoid it.
No.
Right.
I don't like it. I'm happy with not being there, but I'm not going to avoid it if it happens.
Next one is you are definitely not an artistic type of person.
Here's the thing. I dabble in artistic things, but I'm not particularly good at any of them.
Slightly agree.
I guess so. I've just never put in a bunch of effort into it. So I've been in musicals. I've been in plays and theater. So I was a theater kid. I was in jazz band. I did choir, and I did like the all-state choir stuff. So I did a bunch of that. I was in a funk band.
Oh.
That was fun. Weird people. It was strange.
Oh.
But anyway, I mean, I helped out with my friend's band playing. And so, like, that direction, I've gone, like, musical stuff.
Way.
But I've never been particularly, like, good at anything or excellent. I think I'm good at singing. That's the only thing I can sing decently well. I know that on proof of the pudding. Is I've auditioned for things and I've gotten in. It's like, okay, I'm at least competent. I'm good. If I like the auditions that I tried, if I'm going for the saxophone, if I'm playing that, I'm probably not going to get in. I can play it. I'm just not good at it.
Would you say you're the type of man who has practiced 1,000 kicks one time rather than one kick 1,000 times?
Opposite. I practice 1,000 kicks one time.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you practice 1,000 kicks one time rather than mastering one kick 1,000 times.
Yeah, it's to my detriment. Yeah. No, I've flown by the seat of my pants on so many times.
Explain.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was auditioning for an all-state choir in New Mexico.
Okay.
And
I remember
my
this.
arrogance on weeks have gone by. I have not picked up the sheet music for the audition. Mm-hmm. And we have the audio, and I was like occasionally listening to it in my car while I'm driving. And it's finally the day of the audition. In the morning, I go pick up the sheet music. I'm studying the sheet music there. We're not allowed to read it when auditioning. It has to be memorized. Then I'm listening in the car the entire way, listening it on my iPod. I get to the audition. I half-ass that audition, but I'm doing okay on the sight reading section because I play the saxophone. So that involves more sight reading. And so combination of okay on the sheet music and better on the sight reading, I pass. Not only that, I'm a guy. Like, they're just pure numbers. There's more women auditioning for the choir than there are men. And tenors. Tenor men is the lowest category. So if you're just competent, you're a competent male tenor singer, you're getting in.
You're good.
You're trying to audition for soprano, women's soprano part, harder.
You got to battle.
Exactly. And so I got in, but I was quite literally studied the sheet music the day of and then walked in and got in.
So literally by the seat of your pants, you are you are at the whims of your day.
Yeah, I procrastinate quite a bit.
Okay, this next one I'm curious because, well, I'm not curious. I know your answer.
Okay.
I'm curious what your reaction will be to this question. You think the world would be a better place if people relied more on rationality and less on their feelings?
Slightly agree.
Slightly. Oh, why slightly? Oh, are we going to get into some morality talk here?
Sure.
Oh.
I've gone different directions on this.
Yeah.
And for the most part, your feelings can get in the way of a lot of correct decisions. So, of course, like, you should probably think about your life a bit more. But there's a lot of people that only follow the rules and will end up being quite sad because they only did what they were supposed to do. And ultimately, they did it for the wrong reasons. That you kind of need to feel what you're doing is right, not just know it. So following a career path because you think it's the right way, the right direction, is not the same as going in a career that you feel is right. It's kind of the same direction of, I'm a big fan of beauty for beauty's sake. It annoys me with modern architecture that it's so ugly and efficient. I hate it. I hate modern architecture. It sucks. Where you look at ancient architecture where it was built purely for beauty's sake. Very inefficient. Arguably, okay, a lot of bodies went into being made. A lot of human death and suffering went into making beautiful things. But damn, is it beautiful. And there's a value in beauty itself, not for efficiency's sake. I don't know. It's kind of my thought on it.
So would you say then beauty comes at the cost of death and suffering?
Yeah.
Okay.
All good things come from suffering.
You're not wrong there.
If someone didn't suffer, it probably was not good.
It is true that the harder things are to obtain, the more difficult and the more quote unquote suffering. We don't mean like literally dying when using the word suffering, but the harder something is to attain, the more valuable it is.
Yeah.
And the more appreciable it is. So when you're looking at something like modern art versus something beautiful, some cathedral,
the Sistine Chapel, the Hagia Sophia,
things that you could never do, things that are admirable because it was difficult and you could see versus modern art, you're like, that's just efficient and square. And what is that?
The best argument for why modern art is terrible and sucks is if your visual medium art piece requires an essay for you to appreciate it, it failed. A visual medium of art has to have value in purely the visual. Now, you can go into an essay and like learn more about it, of like, oh, it heightens the piece. But if you need it to make it actually significant. So art student friend of mine talked about how there's this one artist, more modern artist, that has a studio every year. And in a particular corner of his studio, he always put up a representation of the heavens, of the ethereal, God, whatever. And in one year, he had a painting where it was a white square in a black canvas. So just white square in black, which is kind of like the divinity surrounded by the void. And there's a whole explanation of all the meaningful significance to it. But you look at it, it's a stupid white square on a black canvas. It's pointless. It has no visual value. The only value in this entire painting is its setting, and you have to add so much context and writing to make a piece of art meaningful. That's pointless. You failed. You failed at the medium. It's a visual medium. You have to succeed at visual things, not essays. I can read a poem. A poem, you don't need a visual thing. It's all from the words. If I need words to enjoy a painting, painting failed.
I don't know. There was that modern art toilet. Do you remember the toilet in the fountain? Yeah. What it was a toilet that had a signature on it?
Yeah, someone wrote the signature on a stupid toilet. Oh, God. I hate it. So many people with sticks up their butts in the art world. Or more conveniently, it's tax evasion, but What was the question?
Moving on. You prefer to do your chores before allowing yourself to relax.
Moderately disagree.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Strongly
Okay.
disagree.
Yeah. We're going strongly there. It's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. You enjoy watching people argue.
Yes. Strongly.
Strongly?
Oh, it's fun.
Now, you also enjoy involving yourself in that argument.
Oh, even more fun.
But you also enjoy watching the scene.
Oh, it's great. It's fantastic.
What's the most recent argument you've seen? Was it a
Scene?
Yeah.
Physically?
Yeah, no, not like a fight, but what's the most recent argument you can go like, oh.
I don't know. I don't go out with a lot of people. It's not it's not a thing I do often.
All right, next question. So you tend to avoid drawing attention to yourself.
In what way? In some ways, I draw attention to myself. I'm on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
We are presenting ourselves
Yeah.
to people on YouTube.
That's right.
I think this is drawing attention to myself.
So you have to at least moderately disagree.
Moderately disagree, and I like arguments.
So moderate.
Moderately.
Moderately disagree, okay.
I'm not going to throw a hissy fit in a random Kroger's just to get attention, but...
This next question literally is about hissy fits. It says your mood can change very quickly.
Strongly disagree.
You're very in control of your emotions, you'd say?
For the most part.
You said that. That was a great answer because you said that so apathetically for the most part. I'm in control of my emotions.
I know you know that's true because that game where you try to make your friend laugh.
I don't want to bring it up. I don't want to talk about it.
You don't talk about it.
It was years ago.
I don't have to laugh. There's no situation where I'm required to laugh.
I know.
Laughter is optional.
Yeah, for context, this was like back in college as well.
Yeah.
Where we were just doing this game where we said, okay, to try not to laugh. You've seen these videos, but not watching videos try not to laugh. It was in our friend group. You know, it's late at night. We're all like, were we drinking? I don't know. Drinking or not, it was late at night, and we're like, who knows, 2 a.m., where everyone's in a laughing mood as well. And so it's like, all right, whoever gets a chance, we also have to make people laugh. So we try to make Justin laugh, get him right away. Try to make me laugh, get me right away. You say something stupid, whatever. And we look up jokes on the internet, whatever, and punchlines, blah, 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 or watch a quick video. We go through the whole line of people, and then, Rich, we get to you, and we're just trying to make you laugh for hours.
Yeah.
To the point where we went, oh my God, he might not, like, your laughter is voluntary.
Yeah.
Like, if you can turn it on and off is a thing. Like, you'll laugh at something funny, but that's because your laughter mode's constantly on. But at a click of a button, you could click it off, just like, you remember that Brandon Sanderson is your God article?
Yeah.
Where he was saying Brandon Sanderson can't feel pain?
I guess. In a certain situation.
In a certain sense, you can turn off your why can't I talk? Laughter module. You get what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get it. I don't understand why anyone else can't do that. Like, if it's important, you don't laugh. Like, laughter is, like, there's a physical reaction. You just stop the physical reaction.
That's
just don't laugh.
How? If it's funny.
Acknowledge the funny in your head. That was really funny. And then it goes away. It's like releasing a sneeze. It's like silent. You know how, like, you can stop yourself from sneezing? You can, there's little tricks that you can, like, you let the air escape. Like, it's building up, and you let the air escape in a different way.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with laughter. You let the funny escape in your head, and you acknowledge how funny it is. But then the release is gone. It's not built up.
Got it. So it's like blinking. You naturally blink. Your laughing's always on. But then when you think about laughing or you think about blinking, you can turn the autonomy into more control.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for the most part, I think that's
autonomous. Yeah.
Similar things apply to most situations. Like, if there's a stressful situation, like, there's the default mode of existence, and then when you have to focus on something of, like, okay, now is not the time to be emotional about something. Now's not the time to get angry. It is just time to calmly analyze something and move forward, and not let your body kind of make decisions for you.
Okay. Next question is, you lose patience with people who are not as efficient as you. Is that true? Do you get impatient?
Moderately agree.
Moderately agree. Okay.
I mean, I'm not very efficient myself, and so if someone's worse than me,
That's a low bar. Right?
I'm not saying I'm great or anything. It's like, if you're worse than me, it's pretty bad.
That's rough. Next one is, you often end up doing things at the last possible moment.
Strongly agree.
As discussed.
Yeah.
And you have always been fascinated by the question of what, if anything, happens after death. We're going to stick on this question for a minute.
Strongly agree.
Yeah, you have. Now, Rich, how about you go ahead and share with us, what do you think happens after we die?
I have no idea. That's ultimately the thing, is it's a mixed bag of, logically speaking, I don't think there's an afterlife. There hasn't been significant evidence presented to me that there is a God. However, caveat, I do think there is something fundamentally wrong with the idea that morality is completely subjective. Because some things are right, some things are wrong, regardless of who says what. But for there to be objective morality, there needs to be a higher power. It can't be us. That's the nature of it. So that's a conflicting belief in my own heart.
And maybe part of it, to reference earlier in the video, when you were saying, hey, generally, if you're more selfish and you care about you and those closest to you, if you believed in a God, maybe you would have that more care toward other random people.
Yeah,
maybe
possibly.
there would be more of a, and I'm treading lightly with not giving any of my thoughts, because that's, that's a different video. But you would say your lack of belief in a God, does that correlate with some things with your personality and how you act? It has to, right?
100%.
What would you say the primary thing it does affect? Because was it true that you want to believe as well? Sorry for asking multiple questions there.
Sure.
But do you want to believe in God?
I want to. I think my life would be better if I did.
And then how does it affect you that you currently don't?
If you do not believe in whatever particular God, then every person has some type of higher power. And every person puts something on a pedestal that is above them.
There are hierarchies.
It's a hierarchy of values. Mm-hmm. And you either have God there, or you have something else, or at worst, you have yourself. And you are your own God. And that's probably the worst case scenarios, because there being nothing above you and you have complete autonomy and freedom of yourself, it leads to ultimately very, very selfish decisions. And you often make very stupid decisions. And you make them because you are not trustworthy. You're not trustworthy to pick the right decision, even if it's for your own life. It's kind of like the is consent the only thing that matters in a decision? I personally don't believe so. Consent's necessary, but it's not.
Would you say also things like required. Intent and the well-being of the person and explanation?
Exactly.
There's
so
several things. When you think of what's moral and what's not moral. Right?
If I am my own higher power, if I worship myself, then the only thing required for me to do something or not do something is, do I consent for myself to do something? That's basically it. It's basically you do whatever you want. And that doesn't really take into account your own well-being. Not necessarily. So you build on top of this that I have acknowledged that I'm a dum-dum, and that there have been much smarter people before me that have believed in God. And I start to think, like, who cares what Richard thinks? Richard's an idiot. Why should I take Richard's opinion about God when people like Aristotle or Thomas Aquinas or name a philosopher or religious figure? Nietzsche.
Well, the reason I bring up Nietzsche as well is because your whole point of the hierarchy there, Nietzsche was saying God is dead.
And it's a bad thing. He's been misquoted of he's anti-religion. He's like actually know. But
No, I don't believe he did. He is atheist. He doesn't believe in God, but it was more of a warning that God is dead. What replaces God?
yeah,
In
no,
society. So the exact thing you're getting at is, go ahead. Yeah.
no, it was his point that that's not necessarily a good thing. People have quoted Nietzsche as like God is dead, all that, where with the quote trying to insinuate that God is not necessary or it's not good.
Like, hey, God is dead. Like,
Yeah,
not
it's
a
not a
celebration.
it
It
is-
was a statement of fact
It's a sad thing.
that since society no longer is beholden to a religion or seems to be going in that direction. This is back in the 1800s, and compared to today, where it's the direction as well. So it was a discussion of what do we replace that with. Hence, there's the Ubermensch, et cetera, et cetera. But
Yeah.
interesting thoughts, Rich. And we've talked about religion and stuff. That's off the podcast, but we keep it book stuff. But just interesting to understand your personality and me to just ask questions and not give anything. I love it. All right. The next question is, you usually prefer to be around others rather than on your own.
Moderately disagree.
Yeah. Fair. With your other questions have been revolving around that. This next one is, you become bored or lose interest when the discussion gets highly theoretical. Strongly disagree.
Strongly disagree.
Yeah, we've discussed.
That's where I begin.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what this is going to say about you. I'm really curious about the love life.
Oh, yeah. That's... oh, yeah, I really need that one answered.
The next one is, you find it easy to empathize with a person whose experiences are very different from yours. Do you find it easy to empathize with someone whose experiences are different than yours?
Moderately agree. I think the thing about arguing and talking with people, it's the best way to argue is to put yourself in their shoes and see what they think and why.
Okay.
I'll be honest. I think I can empathize with people that believe really awful things and things I just don't agree with. But I try and understand where they're coming from. But I mean, from an even... Like, to go to the extreme example, when I was much younger, I was playing video games, and part of our online group, we came across a person that was basically a neo-Nazi, would even describe himself as a neo-Nazi. Don't agree with literally anything he said, but I did have a degree of sympathy for him, of where he was coming from. I asked him the question, like, why does he think the way he does? And trying to use the Socratic method to maybe figure out why and maybe change his mind. But in all honesty, I mean, I felt empathy for him, on why he thinks the way, and how that would affect his life going forward. It wouldn't be great. It's not like those beliefs are going to make his life easy. So, I don't know. I think I can empathize pretty well.
I think it's also true to just what we're doing here is, if you watch media or read books a lot, it takes a certain level of, you need to be able to empathize and get in a character's shoe constantly.
Yeah.
So in real life, obviously it affects you, but for you to cry during a book, for you to be affected by a character and care so much about fictional things, it's not real, Rich. Well,
No.
some of them are.
To be fair,
Yeah.
with fiction stuff,
Yeah.
when my life is much worse, I empathize with fiction far more.
Okay.
When my life is going well, it's harder for me to get sucked in and empathize with it.
So when your life's going well, it's harder?
Yeah, because I don't want to be in the fictional world. The escapism is not, when your life is not going well, you want to escape. And so you put yourself into that world at a far deeper level, because that fictional world is better than your own reality.
Gotcha.
Versus your life's doing pretty good. You don't want to escape particularly, and so you don't go as deep into that story.
Okay.
And so maybe that is
It's a factor.
it's a factor. I think it's something when people say like they were deeply emotional over a book and you're trying to understand why, like I didn't feel the same way. It's possible that their life is in such a position that that book touched something deeper than their own personal life.
Right. Yeah, it could be an awful movie that's objectively like, really?
Yeah.
We've had the discussion of Shrek 4 being your favorite movie ever.
Yeah.
Like, how could you? How could you think that? But then, well,
it was the movie that the last movie my dad watched with me. It's like, okay, yeah, it's your favorite movie.
It's why art and all this is so subjective. And why, you know, we try to talk out our thoughts of like, there's some standards of well-written stuff and not, but at the end of it, like,
it is ultimately subjective. I think what we're all trying to do is trying to rationalize our own thoughts in our head.
Yeah.
The numbers that I'm trying to give a book or a movie is in comparison with everything else in my head. Mm-hmm. And it better rationalizes my opinion rather than trying to use that in comparison to someone else. Because it's just a simple factor of prose and dialogue. Depending on what you have read and the amount of books you have read, your score will be very different because it's a different sample size. So the sample size of your experiences changes the outcome. You and I have read different things, and therefore we're going to have different opinions on stuff. And so the only way for us to have close to identical opinions is, one, we've read exclusively only the same books. So we only read the identical books, and also our life is almost identical where our worldviews are the exact same. That's the only way that we would truly have identical opinions.
And we didn't have a bad day that morning.
Yeah.
And if the weather is off, you could like a book less or a movie less.
I was reading To Green Angel Tower while hiking up a mountain on Mauna Loa.
Okay.
One of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life, and very concerned for my own well-being.
Hike was brutal.
Yeah, it was over 12 hours of hiking up a straight mountain. And I was quite literally like 1 foot in front of the other. I don't know if I'm going to make it to the top and cabin by the time the sun goes down. So I'm concerned because there's no cell phone. I was concerned.
Yeah.
And during this time, I am listening to Green Angel Tower. Guess what? I didn't particularly like that book. Not a fan.
Maybe
Not
it
a
had
fan
to
of
do
that
with
book.
your mood.
It could be. It's a strong possibility that the reason I don't like that book is when I was reading it.
That's fair. And you just were not in it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because if you read a book, like you said, you have to have identical lives, read it at a certain time. You can still look at a story and appreciate, okay, the prose is written better here, and what is better? It's describing as well, like what's the better craft of writing, and you can look at, I guess, objective standards there.
But those objective standards is comparison to what else you've read.
It's still in comparison. So
yeah.
This next question, we'll go through a couple of these a little quicker so we can get to your results. But if there's something, some of these are repeats, and some of these are new. So let's see what we got here, okay? Because this one, for example, I think we can easily answer. You can easily answer. It's you usually postpone finalizing decisions for as long as possible.
Moderately agree.
As discussed with your whole planning.
I procrastinate, but...
okay. We've kind of talked about this, but you rarely second guess the choices that you have made.
Moderately agree.
So you're pretty confident when you make a decision that you're not going to worry about it.
Yeah. In general, right or wrong, I made a decision. I'm going to stick with it, and I'm going to make it good. I'm going to make it the best I can.
Okay.
There's no point in thinking about the what ifs, really. It can be funny, but no reason to put an emotional weight on a what if. You've made a decision. What's the next best step?
Okay.
Little downer.
No spoilers. Next question is, after a long and exhausting week, a lively social event is just what you need.
Strongly disagree.
As explained, yes. No. Now, if you're still listening to this pod episode, why? Because we told you to leave way earlier, but we're 60% through the test. So
See, at this point, I'm more antagonistic against them because they're wasting their time. They're listening to us because they value what we have to say. And then we told them to stop watching us, and then they continued watching.
The nerve.
So, the absolute nerve.
The nerve. Although there were a couple interesting things that happened since we told them to leave.
Yeah.
And hopefully another interesting thing. So I'm going to go a little quicker with the responses so we can analyze see what the results are. But hey, do you enjoy going to art museums? That's the next question for you.
Strongly agree.
Strongly?
As long as it's not a modern art museum.
So maybe moderately.
To be fair, every art museum I go to, it's not a modern art museum.
Okay, so strongly.
Yeah.
To go along with you enjoy books, you enjoy interpreting things, analyzing things. That's part of you. Yeah. This next one is you often have a hard time understanding other people's feelings.
Moderately disagree.
I moderately disagree. It's similar to that other question of being able to empathize
Yeah.
with other people.
There's a difference between understanding and agreeing with someone.
Right. Okay. Now, you like to have a to-do list for each day. This went along with the scheduling.
I don't like to, but when I actually do have to get something done, I do have to do it. And then it's
So slightly agree?
slightly agree.
You like to have it.
When I need it, I have it.
Okay.
When stuff actually needs to get done, write on the whiteboard and get to work.
We'll get through this one quick because the next question after this, I want to hear you explain this publicly.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
This one is you rarely feel insecure. Oh. Oh, this one stumped you more than I thought. Oh.
I don't know. Like, I always think of insecurity as more of a negative connotation of you think less of yourself than what you deserve.
Like self-doubt.
Yeah, but it's more of the negative connotation rather. What if you accurately assess yourself? Of like, you know what you're good at, you know what you're bad, and what your deficiency are. Is that particularly?
I get what you mean. So if you properly know I'm not good at this, but it's accurate.
Yeah, I don't know. That's not like self-doubt. I don't think I'm particularly overly harsh with myself. I think I'm fairly accurate with my level of self-appreciation, I guess.
Maybe
rephrase the question again. What's the question?
It says you rarely feel insecure. Would you say neutral? Is this your first neutral? Because you're struggling a lot between the both of these.
Let's put slightly disagree.
Okay, fair enough. Because in the way it's phrased.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. This is the one.
Okay.
I want to hear. So you avoid making phone calls.
Oh, strongly disagree. I hate text messaging. It's the worst.
Now, yeah, explain this.
I don't like text conversations. They're too slow. Texting is only for setting up when you're going to meet with someone, or you have a very quick message of, oh, here's the location, here's when we're meeting, or hey, can you send this thing for me? Okay, sure, thanks. Texting is not for conversations. It's not what it's for. It's not the purpose. It's never been the original purpose of it. It is a way worse form of conversation. Never have a conversation over text. It's stupid. Call. Talk with a regular person. It's amazing how talking to another person is both faster, gets your point across better, and ultimately is less of a social deviance. Like, it's just wrong to do so. I hate it. I hate when someone tries to text me include me in a text conversation.
I'm sorry?
Hate it.
Okay.
Just call.
I did know this was your opinion, and out of if you just looked at you and I's text conversations, like you pulled up, like we both died, they're like looking through the evidence.
Yeah.
And you just pulled up Rich and Austin's text conversations. You're like, man, these guys were strangers.
Yeah. Well, do you understand, like, my own mother, our text conversations is all hers. It's just her side. I never respond to my mother in text.
You call her.
I'll do I'll do agreement, like quick things. But if she texts me some stuff, like a big old wall of text, I'll call her and then I'll talk about it, and then it's fine. I talk to my mother, but I'm not texting my mother.
Now, your mother watches these episodes.
She does. She's very supportive.
Richard's mother, you should text him right after this and be like, I can't believe what you said on the pod.
It's a storage of things to talk. Like, it's there as notes to what to talk about in our next call conversation. That's what it's there for.
You have it figured out. You know what you like. You know what you like.
You figured out. Everyone else has it figured out wrong.
I needed to hear you explain. We've never talked about that on the pod, but that is your thoughts of texting and calling.
I hate it.
This next one is you often spend a lot of time trying to understand views that are very different from your own.
Strongly agree.
You love doing that.
Yeah.
Next one is in your social circle, you are often the one who contacts your friends and initiates activities. Do you do that?
It's ebbed and flowed. In high school, I was the only one.
Well,
this is me and another person.
This is current you.
Current me?
Yeah. You are often the one who contacts your friends and initiates activities.
Slightly disagree, I guess.
That's fair. Because you'll initiate activities with people around because we live with roommates and so forth sometimes. But contact people away. Not as
Yeah.
much, So yeah, slightly disagree. If your plans are interrupted, your top priority is to get back on track as soon as possible,
Strongly disagree.
as discussed.
Yes.
Next one is you are still bothered by mistakes that you made a long time ago. Similar to the last question.
Slightly agree, maybe? Or
Slightly agree
No,
here?
slightly disagree.
Slightly, okay.
I'm trying to think which direction of it. But
Yeah, you're still bothered by mistakes and slightly disagree. I think before you had it more moderately with a question like this. But maybe the way
slightly
it's
bothered
worded,
by mistakes.
that you made a long time ago. Like, do you often think about and have regrets of the past? It's a question about regret. Do you regret things? And does it bother you? Do you let that take up your mental space?
I don't think I put a lot of weight into it. I think about it, and it's more knowledgeable of what I'm going to do in the future.
It's
not
worded-
really.
Yeah. It's worded, are you still bothered by them?
Then no.
So
Not
more
particularly.
moderately or strongly? Moderately?
Moderate.
Okay. Because we need this very accurate.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying my best here. Okay. This next one is you rarely contemplate the reason for human existence or the meaning of life. Strongly disagree.
Disagree.
Yeah. And it goes back to that with that God talk we just had, right? Your emotions control you more than you control them, Mr. Stoic. It's tough because you know what you want, but what do you actually do? Is this a difference between reality?
Say the question again. I'm trying to.
Your emotions control you more than you control them.
I guess honestly, strongly disagree.
Yeah. If you're averaging the general populace, you're definitely more on the in control of what. And as we discussed about you laughing, you can control that at times. You can control yourself.
It's not like it's it's not like it's always on, but like if
Yeah.
something happens, I think I'm normally the last person to freak out in a situation.
Is there a time? Can you think of a time you did panic and did freak out? I think that answers our question. Maybe you'll have to think about it later.
I mean, okay.
Oh,
Story on just
story time. I'm ready.
when I was on going on a tour group thing through our school and went to Santorini. And part of our tour group is they say, hey, you got 3 hours, explore, be back at this bus stop in 3 hours, or we leave without you and the ship goes without you and you're stuck here. We're not checking. Like, we're not calling you, nothing. So, okay. I go off and everyone else doing another thing. I was like, I just kind of want to explore. And I'm going through and there's too many weddings going on. Like, for some reason, okay. I don't know if it's a thing, but a lot of Asian people were getting married in Santorini.
Like 6 years ago.
Yeah, I think it's just a thing, but whatever. They were hogging up the streets. I mean that not disrespectfully. I mean quite literally. I couldn't walk past because there were at least like 8 weddings going on with people taking photos. Like 8 separate weddings taking photos on the same stupid street. It was hogging up the street. I couldn't get through.
Okay.
And so I started taking side paths, going around. And this is without, like, I don't have my phone. I have, like, a flip phone. I don't have a smartphone or data or anything like that. And I get
How long ago was
sufficiently...
this?
Oh, it was end of high school type of thing.
Okay, got it.
Like,
okay, a while ago.
That's yeah. And so I get to... Like, I'm just thoroughly lost. I'm like, oh, I have no idea where I am. And I have no idea how to get back. Well, darn. And so I look at a sign and it says raspberry cheesecake and an arrow pointed one direction. I'm like, that might as well. So I start following these signs to raspberry cheesecake.
Okay.
And I get there and we're overlooking the center, the whole water. It's this cliffside restaurant,
Beautiful,
hotel.
I'm sure.
Beautiful, gorgeous, wonderful time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm eating cheesecake. It was good cheesecake.
Good.
And I look across at another table and I see a guy with a fanny pack. And I'm looking at them. I don't know them. Like, they're not from our group. But I'm looking at them and they're clearly tourists. And they get up to leave. And I'm just thinking to myself, they look like typical tourists. They probably have a map. They look like they're going somewhere with purpose. I bet they're going to the same place where my bus is. And so I throw down money and I get up and I follow them at a respectable, significant distance that I'm not being weird. I hope. And I
They
follow
still
them.
think about you to this day. Like, man, that guy.
And I follow them, and they go all the way back to the main street where the main area had to meet. And I get there with about 8-ish minutes to spare.
Yeah.
And I get back and, they were going to leave in about 8 minutes. I get on the bus and I go home. It's like, I didn't panic.
Wait, so this is a story of... I was waiting for the panic moment.
There was no panic moment. That's the thing. Why panic? There's no purpose to panicking.
I just remember the setup to the question was like, can you remember the last time you really did freak out? And you just went on a monologue about, no.
No.
I have not. That was a great twist. That was a great twist ending. I like it.
It was great. That is my favorite type of vacation.
Yeah.
Things are apparently going wrong and going off the plan. But then you find cheesecake and everything works out in the end. That's the best type of vacation.
I don't want you to make fun of Red Rising plots anymore because that is the plot of Red Rising, okay? You stop it now. This next one is you take great care not to make people look bad even when it's completely their fault.
Slightly agree, I guess.
Slightly.
If it matters, I try. I don't want to. If it's with your friends, like you're ribbing them, sure. But like that's only for close. Like you make fun of your friends and you make your friends look bad to their face and with your other close friends. But if your friend is with their significant other or they're with in public, you don't particularly make fun of them in a harmful way.
Okay.
Let's
take a
there's different humor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like you make fun, you try and make your friends look good in front of strangers and other people.
That's fair. That's a fair answer. Okay. Now we are at the tail's end here. By tail's end, I mean we've got about 27 more. No.
Jesus.
We're close, okay? You ready?
Okay.
Your personal work style is closer to spontaneous bursts of energy rather than...
Strongly agree.
Fuck it. Just fuck it. All right, next one.
That's completely true.
Then, yeah, but you know where it was going. Rather than organized, consistent efforts, you are a spontaneous machine where it's just, I'm picking this Tuesday, there goes that Tuesday.
It's not I'm picking this Tuesday. It's I'm picking today. It's
Yes.
never future day.
Oh, yeah, I just mean like you wake up on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it happens. Okay, this next one's when someone thinks highly of you, you wonder how long it will take for them to feel disappointed in you. Oh. Oh.
Moderately agree.
That just hit some deep-rooted trauma. I just saw you live 3 lifetimes in the matter of one look. Moderately agree. You sure it's not strongly?
I get.
No,
Yeah.
it's moderate. It's moderate. You got to keep something for yourself there. So, do you want to expand on that for a second?
No, is that normal? Is that not normal to think about?
I'm just waiting for them to be disappointed. Holy crap. Okay. Next one's you would love a job that requires you to work alone most of the time. I think I know where you're going with this one.
Moderately disagree.
Exactly
I
that.
don't work well if I'm by myself. I need other people around. And it's good to keep me on track.
You're not an isolationist.
No.
This whole thing's not to make you look like I hate people. No. Yeah.
Some settings, yes. Some settings, no.
And most settings, no. But still. You believe that pondering abstract philosophical questions is a waste of time. Absolutely
Strongly
disagree. Yep, strongly disagree. What? Moderately? Because there are some stupid ones.
No. Slightly agree.
What change up is that?
No, it's a waste of time. It's purposeless. Like, ultimately, actions matter. Thinking about abstract things is ultimately a waste of time and pointless. And it is better to actually act upon your beliefs and create change. So I am actively wasting time, yes. I like it. I like wasting time some,
So it's a waste of time to you, but don't you have to ponder those philosophical questions to know how you think? Or would you say for you, since you're at a point where you think you know how you're pretty well rounded in that?
I think most people overthink things.
Got it. So this is more overthinking question is how you're taking it.
Yeah, and just the philosophy in and of itself is fun, but ultimately actions matter far more.
Slightly agree then. Okay. Next one's you feel more drawn to places with busy, bustling atmospheres than quiet, intimate places.
Strongly disagree. I hate cities.
Okay.
Cities suck.
So let's see. The list of things Richie hates are, let's go through this. It's cities, modern art, and Asian weddings.
No, I don't hate Asian weddings. There were just too many of them on a very small street.
I was just making you look bad. It's fine.
Okay.
I was looking for a reaction.
Yeah.
That was selfish.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one's you know at first glance how someone is feeling. At first glance, how someone is feeling.
Moderately disagree.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think I'm particularly great at picking up those cues without talking to someone.
How am I feeling?
I mean, you're always depressed, so I'm going with that one. But that's a numbers game.
You got it again. Gets it every time.
That's not me picking up on social cues.
That's just common sense.
If I'd be a betting boy.
Back to like thinking the poker odds, 55, 65% odds. Just is the moon out?
Yeah, the odds be in my favor.
I have good news, everybody.
Yeah.
We'll get 6 more.
Oh, geez.
And then we're going to see the results of Richard, okay?
Isn't it wonderful how much of an editing job we're making you do?
I thought this was a simple video idea. No. I'm like, shit, this is a long
You should have learned by now. If there's anything that I'm actually really, really good at, it's talking. I can talk someone's ear off.
That's good for content.
Yep. Not good for editing.
Nope. You often feel overwhelmed. Do you often feel overwhelmed?
Slightly agree. I guess.
You'd like not to, but there's a lot going on. Yeah.
A lot going on, but also, yeah.
Okay.
The overwhelming feeling gets in the way of me actually doing the stuff I need to do.
Yeah. And you think sometimes you'll have these time slots of free time where you'll have 1 hour free time and go like, that thing will take 5 hours. So I should just use the free time to do nothing.
Yeah.
So that overwhelmed feeling causes you to not do the large project.
And snowballs.
Yep. Causing more overwhelming feelings.
Yeah.
Are we going to stick with slightly or
moderately?
Okay, we're going to go moderately. 5 more questions. You complete things methodically without skipping over any steps. Methodically without skipping over any steps. Methodically.
Strongly disagree. IKEA instructions are for the weak.
But you still do it methodically.
No.
You don't like put one thing after the other?
I put multiple things together.
All right, strongly disagree. Guess I haven't seen you build many IKEA things. Next is you are very intrigued by things labeled as controversial. It's a strongly agree. Yeah, come on. Next one, you would pass along a good opportunity if you thought someone else needed it more. I guess a lot of that depends.
It does.
A lot of it depends.
Depends on where I'm at currently.
Who's the person?
Yeah. Who's the person? Where am I personally at?
Yeah.
Ultimately, you do need to take care of yourself before others. So if I'm like starving, I need a job. I've been unemployed for 6 months and a job offer comes up and it's me or my friend. I'm taking it. I'm taking that job because, Richard need to eat. I'll share money with my friend. Like I'll help him out. I'll help him eat. But
so I'll take the job and I'll
help you out. I guess.
Like, hey, you're unemployed. It's my fault. But here you go.
Yeah.
So slightly agree. Or
yeah.
Moderately.
Moderately.
Okay. Last 2 here. Mm-hmm. You struggle with deadlines.
Moderately agree.
Okay.
I don't know. For the most part, if a deadline is set, I think I'm normally pretty good about it.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Wait, you're saying it's saying you struggle with deadlines, so wouldn't it be moderately disagree? Because you saying you don't.
Slightly disagree.
Slightly disagree. Okay. And the last question, and this is a good question to leave it off on before getting into your personality, what it says. You feel confident that things will work out for you and the channel. Oh.
Well, here, okay. It's not a whoa. I'm between moderately and strongly agree.
Okay.
How confident am I?
What brings you away from strongly? Hey, if there's doubt, it's moderate. Because You didn't just say strongly like that, so it's got to be moderately agree.
I guess so. Moderately agree.
You're still very confident.
Yeah.
All right, C, results. It logged us out. No. You are, Richard, drum roll. All right, stop that. It is the logician, which...
I don't know.
Okay, you are an INTP. We're about to break that down for you. Are you just fascinated with what you are?
No.
Okay, the first one.
I am not very interesting.
The first tests, here's the 4 letters. The very first thing tests whether you are more extroverted or introverted. You are 53% more introverted. You're not as introverted as I thought you would be. You lean introverted, but there's still large extroversion there. So it says introverts individuals tend to prefer fewer yet deep and meaningful social interactions, which is very true. But you don't just completely block people off.
Yeah.
There you go. This next one's way stronger. This tests your mind and how you think. It's a test between, are you more intuitive or are you more observant? What do you think you are? Because I think you forgot the 4 letters I said already.
I did.
So
I did forget the 4 letters. It's all hogwash. I don't know, intuitive, I guess.
You are, yeah. You're 76% more intuitive, which means you're more imaginative, open-minded, and curious. And you value originality and focus on hidden meanings and distant possibilities.
I don't know why I feel an aversion to that being described on me. But I feel it.
But it's very accurate.
I don't like it.
It knows you now. It knows all of you.
For some reason, I want to disagree with that.
I want to disagree with myself.
Yeah. I don't like it calling me open-minded. I don't like that.
Let me prove it wrong by being closed-minded about it. This next is nature. And this tests whether you are more thinking or feeling. What do you think you are? More thinking or feeling?
I guess more thinking.
Yes, 58% more thinking. Where thinking individuals focus on objectivity and rationality, often dismissing emotions in favor of logic, which is ringing pretty true with how you've answered. Mm. And lastly, are you more... Wow, this one you're 85%. This is huge. Are you more judging or prospecting?
Judging?
Prospecting.
Oh.
85% more, meaning you are very good at improvising and adapting to opportunities and tend to be more flexible rather than specifically planning stuff out.
Oh, that's what it means.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Now, here's a couple things about the logician, about Richard, you yourself. What do you want to hear your strengths and weaknesses? You want to jump there? Do you want to jump to romantic, your friendships? I think we should go over friendships and strengths and weaknesses for sure. And the rest, we could just kind of go, everybody, you can go into the rest of your day. Which strengths and weaknesses?
Sure.
Oh, I can't wait to hear your weakness. I'm gonna
You gonna exploit that one?
Oh, I'm gonna exploit that. But your strengths, Rich, and let's see if you think this is true. It says you are more analytical.
I guess.
The build up to find out what Rich personality is. Like, sure.
I'm just saying, like,
You're right.
analytical compared to what?
Yeah.
Compared to other people? I don't particularly know. Sure, I'm more analytical than a hysterical screaming child.
To yourself.
To myself?
Yes.
Sure, I guess so.
Next one, it says you're more original.
No, definitely not.
It says thanks to their unrelenting imagination, logicians can come up with creative, counterintuitive ideas that wouldn't occur to most people.
Yeah, no.
I think you do. When it comes to fixing things, when it comes to solving a problem, moving the studio around, being like, that's how we can improve that. Let me move this, build this.
I don't know how like innovative uses of duct tape in plumbing are particularly creative or original.
Screw this. You're open-minded, curious, and objective. Let's go to the weaknesses, okay?
Okay.
Here's your weaknesses. Number 1, disconnected. You're disconnected, Richard. Well, how do you feel about that?
Maybe a little bit.
It says you could get lost in your own train of thought, even when they're with people. That's very true. You do that all the time.
Yeah. I actually have had a problem of like in a mid-conversation with someone at a restaurant and the song is playing and I go like, I know that song. And like I just completely derail and my brain starts going, which artist is that? I know I played that song in middle school. I played that in jazz band.
All right.
What is the name of that song? And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's distracting to other people.
Next,
it's very rude.
But it's a bit disconnected at times.
Maybe.
It also says your weakness is you are insensitive.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Yep. As you see rationality as the key to a better, happier world, so sometimes you can be a little bit less empathetic at times. And sometimes on the pod, I've noticed you could sometimes say a little...
Am I a little judgmental?
Just a couple hurtful things every now and then that I thought about at 2 a.m. waking up going, I can't believe he was right about that. Like, I am that way. It's so... And then you are also... Oh, this is true. Dissatisfied. If Fears, I know he answered a bunch of questions about his personality. If you only knew how in life, how dissatisfied. It's a bit of like, you know what you're thinking, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That made me laugh, cry just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm ultimately dissatisfied.
How many conversations have we had?
Yeah, it's all centers around that. Yeah, mostly.
Okay. That was funny. That is funny. Okay. And 2 more. You are impatient.
Yeah.
Self-explanatory. And lastly, this is the one that might not ring as true. It says you're a perfectionist. I'm
far from it.
Yeah, I don't know if you're a perfectionist at all.
No, at all.
The rest of these are pretty accurate, though, for weaknesses. That was a good general thing. Now I'm going to get to the second most interesting thing.
If you're not skilled enough at something, it's impossible to be a perfectionist. Like, you can only be a perfectionist if you have a degree of proficiency
In the craft, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I had a certain degree of proficiency in anything in particular, maybe I would be a perfectionist.
Like, most of your answers were how you were getting through by the whims of your seat. Like, how is that perfectionist?
Oh no. I remember in school, I know I was generally intelligent enough to like do fine. Like, I didn't have to try too hard to pass, but I never excelled. That's the difference. I wasted, like, it's one of those things of like, I know I'm not a dummy in school, but I definitely could have done a lot better because I skated by.
But you were competent.
Yeah, I could pass.
Like, if you were to Rambler score yourself in school.
Like a 6.5 out of 10.
That's generous.
I got in there.
Yeah. All right, so you're a 6.5, maybe on a good day.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to go over friendships or romantic relationships next? I'll let you decide.
Bye, everyone. Cut to black.
Let's do friendships real quick.
Okay.
Just because it's relevant. It's relevant. Okay. So it says for friendships, like anyone, logicians look to their friends for companionship and support, but people with this personality type want something else, intellectual depth. I don't know why you're here for that. But actually,
I mean,
joking aside.
No, the depth only matters by degrees. If you're 2 points, so the points have to be different for there to be depth. A point on the same level, that's not deep. But 1 point up here and another point down here, that's depth. And so I am looking for depth, but I'm looking for more in comparison.
You're right. We should have stopped the video. Right? So in comparison, sure. I'm maybe a little shallow, a little pool.
Yeah, you're a big Red Rising nerd.
Now, are you more choosy or selective with your friends? Let's see what this thinks. Okay. I think you're more selective. That's my opinion. But it says perhaps they don't mind the company of their own thoughts. Because they don't mind the company of their own thoughts, logicians don't surround themselves with people just for the sake of it. That's very true. You are way more selective with your friends, it says. And it says when logicians do open up, they can be lively, imaginative friends who always have something interesting or unexpected to say. Now,
probably true.
Yeah, logicians' best friends tend to share their passion for new ideas, riddles, and solutions. That doesn't mean that they seek people who only agree with them. They don't mind having their ideas challenged. In fact, they have a great deal of respect for people who make them rethink their assumptions and keep them on their toes. Tell me this test is wrong. Tell me with a straight face this is wrong. Yeah. That is you in a nutshell.
True. I do respect someone who can will actually have a spine and disagree with me.
Right?
So much more fun.
And
Oh, God. Nothing worse than a spineless friend who just agrees with you.
okay, I'm glad we've disagreed sometimes. I'm going to keep that in mind to not agree with you ever again.
You understand that I respect you the most when you disagree with me.
So our Wheel of Time episodes?
Yeah. Well, you stick behind it. You're not just like weakly moving over of like, oh, I guess I'll go with what you say, and like you change your opinion just because I say a few things. No, I have to work for you to change your mind,
And it's more
that's
satisfactory.
Exactly.
That way. Okay, I'll make you work for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Your logician friendships are knowledge-based, buoyed on exchange of ideas, theories, concepts, yada, yada, yada. And now the meaning of friendship to logicians like you are when friends come to them with problems and dilemmas, logicians are generally excited to help. They can be counted on to offer logical advice and rational solutions. But when it comes to emotional support and matters of the heart, people like you are a bit out of their depth.
Yeah. For the most part.
For the most part? Yeah. Hey, that's pretty accurate on friendship. I think that got you down to a T on several things.
Probably.
And now we're just gonna, there's things like parenthood we can look at, career paths.
I got good parents.
Oh, no, it's saying you as a parent.
Oh,
Okay. Are you interested in that?
No.
Okay.
I am, but I'm not interested in sharing that with the rest of the world. I've shared enough.
So let's share lastly romantic relationships.
Bye, everyone.
All right. See you next episode.